evening, I'm Alma Angeles and you're watching Eagle News International. On tonight's program, Egay has strengthened into a tropical storm while traversing westward over the Philippine Sea, according to state-run weather agency Pagasa. The agency forecasts a likelihood of further escalation into a tropical storm within the next 12 hours, with potentially steady intensification leading to a potential upgrade to the super typhoon category by late Monday or early Tuesday. Human-made climate change is driving extreme heat waves across Asia, Europe, and North America, potentially making 2023 the hottest year on record. And scientists are sounding the alarm, explaining how global warming is supercharging natural weather phenomena, leading to devastating record temperatures. The World Health Organization has warned that global warming could prompt a record number of dengue fever infections worldwide. And in a world grappling with the impacts of climate change, researchers in Arizona have taken a unique approach to understand the dangers of extreme heat and its effects on the human body. First in our news, Greece is facing a catastrophic situation as raging wildfires continue to devastate the countryside, exacerbated by the ongoing climate crisis. Let's take a closer look at the situation unfolding near Athens. In a dystopian scene, a village west of Athens is now a sea of charred black, and a chemical factory lies burnt to a crisp. The fire has been blazing for days, and there seems to be no easy way to contain it. Local resident Christos Laskos, a truck driver, describes the dire situation.
Τόσες μέρες καίει, εντάξει δεν υπήρχαν μέσα να πεις να προχωρήσουν στην κατάσβεση εύκολα, την αφήσανε πιστεύω εγώ. Πέρασε με στον οικισμό, καήκε το σπίτι εδώ κάτω, γίνανε κάποιες ζημιές. Εμείς, εντάξει, δόξα τω Θεώ, δεν έγινε κάτι σοβαρό, αλλά άλλοι συνάνθρωποι μας είναι δύσκολο αυτή τη στιγμή.
The devastating wildfires spread rapidly, causing severe destruction as it tore through houses and properties. Residents like Fotini Arvanit expressed their frustration with a delayed response from the municipality and fire department.
Το μεσημέρι εξαπλώθηκε η φωτιά. Όπως βλέπετε έχουν καεί τα πάντα, έχουν καεί σπίτια. Η πυροσβεστική, ο Δήμος Μάνδρας Ιδηλίας δεν εμφανίστηκε πουθενά. Και βλέπετε αυτή την κατάσταση. Η πυροσβεστική υπηρεσία ήρθε το μεσημέρι προς απόγευμα και ένα ελικόπτερο πέταξε μόνο, το οποίο μία ρήτρα.
Greek authorities have their hands full as 52 new fires erupted today, and firefighters find themselves playing a never-ending game of containment. As soon as one fire is controlled, the combination of heat and wind reignites old flames. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the United States is grappling with its own extreme weather. In parts of the South and West, a staggering 86 million Americans are under heat alerts as temperatures soar into triple digits. Phoenix, Arizona is particularly hard hit by a record wave with daytime temperatures surpassing 110 degrees Fahrenheit for at least 20 days now. The growing homeless population in the city is among those suffering the most.
Anything over 90 is hot. All it is just hotter. There's no degree of heat that would make a person comfortable once they become warm. So that's in any situation, like I said, water, stay in the shade.
For our unhoused, unsheltered population here in Maricopa County, the day after day high heat makes it more stressful and straining. It makes it harder to just survive and feel like you can't cool off overnight. So you're living with your core body temperature being so hot that it's unhealthy. You can try to keep drinking water. Water gets warm outside very quickly, so it's not cool water. We offer spaces like this where people can come indoors. It's air conditioned, it feels cooler. We hand out tons of water, bottle after bottle of water, trying to keep people hydrated. We will see, though, if this continues, we will see more heat-related deaths because it is a life and death situation.
It's really brutal, man. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, I seen a bunch of people pass out not too long ago, like barely yesterday. I seen some guy sitting down eating, and he just collapsed from the chair and just fell and started getting a seizure or going into a seizure.
And as millions of Americans try to escape the heat by seeking refuge in Greece and Italy, they are met with a harsh reality. The regions are also experiencing hot seas and thick air filled with smoke, showcasing the unrelenting nature of these relentless summer. Meanwhile, human-made climate change is driving extreme heat waves across Asia, Europe, and North America, potentially making 2023 the hottest year on record. And scientists are sounding the alarm, explaining how global warming is supercharging natural weather phenomena, leading to devastating record temperatures. The world is witnessing record-breaking heat waves and extreme weather events in various regions. In Spain, soaring temperatures are breaking records, while Italy faces power outages and Greece is battling raging wildfires. The United States is grappling with one of the worst heat waves in recent memory, while parts of Europe are witnessing unprecedented fires. The question on everyone's mind, why is this summer so brutal?
We are seeing continuing growth in the frequency, duration and intensity of heat waves, and this is entirely consistent with the science of global warming and IPCC reports. These events will continue to grow in intensity, and the world needs to prepare for more intense heat waves.
Scientists highlighted the length and intensity of the lingering anti-cyclone systems bringing the heat waves. In Europe, an anti-cyclone phenomenon called Charon is to blame for the extreme heat. High pressure over southern Europe is pushing air downwards, compressing it and making it hotter. Now this results in a heat dome, trapping hot air and causing prolonged heat waves.
It's very wobbly, and it ends up with parked weather systems that accumulate a lot of sunshine and heat in one location that moves extremely slowly. These are not your normal weather systems of the past. They have arrived as a consequence of climate change.
Meanwhile, in the United States, the southern region is also experiencing a heat dome due to high pressure. A dangerous combination of drought and El Niño, a weather pattern fueled by hotter than usual water in the Pacific Ocean, is exacerbating the situation.
The recently declared El Niño is only expected to amplify the occurrence and intensity of extreme heat events. So we're in for a bit of a ride, I'm afraid. And they will have quite serious impacts on human health and livelihoods.
In Asia, a third high-pressure area is causing yet another heat dome. The fast-moving jet stream, acting like a river of air blowing west to east, strengthens and prolongs these high-pressure zones. There is a common thread connecting these extreme weather events: human-made global warming fueled by greenhouse gas emissions.
We need to emit as few as possible of the greenhouse gases, and any emissions that we manage to cut will reduce the warming, and this will reduce these big extreme impacts we've been talking about. So, you know, it will be sad the day we pass 1.5, but it's not a reason to give up. We have to continue working out how we can reduce emissions of greenhouse gases as much as possible, even after that.
As Europe faces for another heat wave next week, relief might be temporary for the US and Asia. However, experts warn that in the long run, with more heat-trapping gases trapped in the atmosphere, there's simply no escape from the intensifying heat waves. As temperatures continue to soar, southern Nevada braces for relentless heat. The National Weather Service issues a critical warning emphasizing that this is not your typical desert heat. With no significant overnight cool down. Our correspondent Anna Cui brings us the latest updates and insights on this unprecedented weather phenomenon in her neck of the woods. Anna.
Excessive heat warning has been extended for much of southern Nevada, including Las Vegas, through Saturday. Temperature hit 116 degrees Fahrenheit or 46.7 degrees Celsius earlier this week, just below the highest record temperature of 118 degrees Fahrenheit or about 48 degrees Celsius. Although this heat wave isn't expected to end anytime soon, the string of consecutive days of having temperatures at or above 110 degrees or 43 degrees Celsius has been broken. Triple-digit temperatures are common between June and September in southern Nevada, but the National Weather Service warns that this is not typical desert heat since there's no significant overnight cool down. Temperatures remain warm at night in the low 90s. Despite the heat, visitors walk the Las Vegas Strip, checking out the latest attractions the city has to offer. The Sphere is the latest addition to the Las Vegas skyline, a next-generation entertainment venue with a fully programmable LED exterior, hailed as the largest LED screen in the world, according to their website. While visitors brave the heat, the Southern Nevada Health District urges everyone to continue to take precautions to avoid experiencing heat exhaustion or heat stroke. Health District officials report that there has been 7 heat-related deaths so far this year in Southern Nevada, and a total of 152 such deaths in 2022. In Las Vegas, Anna Cui, Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has warned that global warming could prompt a record number of dengue fever infections worldwide. Dengue is a mosquito-borne illness that is most common in tropical and subtropical climates. The disease can cause a range of symptoms, from mild fever and rash to severe illness and death. There's no specific treatment for dengue. But the disease can be managed with supportive care. Prevention is key, and the WHO recommends a number of measures to protect against dengue, including using insect repellent, sleeping under a mosquito net, and eliminating standing water around homes.
About half of the world population is at risk of dengue, and dengue affects approximately 129 countries. We estimate that about 100 to 400 million cases are reported every year. This is basically an estimate. And the American region alone, for example, has reported about 2.8 million cases and 1,280 deaths. In some cases, especially when you get the infection for the second time, which we call a secondary infection, this can lead to severe dengue, and it can be fatal too. In 2000, we had about 500,000 cases, and today in 2022 we recorded over 4.2 million cases, which really shows an 8-fold increase. And actually, this can be much higher as we get more and more accurate figures. The European countries are also on alert because Europe had recorded Aedes-borne transmission of either dengue or chikungunya since 2000. And 2010, we had more outbreaks since then. And it is estimated that the mosquito is present in about 22 European countries. Also, the high precipitation, increased temperature, and even the mosquito manages to survive even when there is water scarcity. So both during a flood situation as well as a drought situation, dengue can increase. The virus and the vector multiplies faster at a higher temperature. This is a well-known fact. There are very few antiviral research working on, and actually 2 or 3 of these candidates are going through phase 2 trials and will move on to the phase 3, which is very promising. There is also one dengue vaccine in the market which has got certain limitations, and 2 other candidates are actually in the pipeline and are under review.
And news from Italy as severe weather wreaks havoc in the northern region. UGC images show heavy hail and torrential downpour flooding the streets of Seregno, a village situated less than 30 kilometers from Milan. Witnessing extreme weather conditions in northern Italy as images from Seregno depict heavy hail pelting down and water gushing through the streets. The Italian Fire Brigade, Vigili del Fuoco, has confirmed that the northeast of Milan is grappling with unfavorable conditions, prompting authorities to issue an orange alert. As residents brace for the severe weather to continue into the evening, this comes in the aftermath of a relentless heat wave that gripped Italy and several European nations. The abrupt transition from sweltering temperatures to extreme weather has left communities in the region on edge. Now, authorities are closely monitoring the situation and urging residents to exercise caution and stay informed about the rapidly changing weather conditions. Now, here in the country, in its latest 11 a.m. bulletin today, Egay has strengthened into a tropical storm while traversing westward over the Philippine Sea, according to the state-run weather agency, Pagasa. The agency forecasts a likelihood of further escalation into a tropical storm within the next 12 hours, with potential steady intensification leading to a potential upgrade to the super typhoon category by late Monday or early Tuesday.
Kita nga natin, itong si Egay, naasahan natin na tatahakin niya yung direksyong west-northwest o di kaya papuntang Kanluran hanggang Sunday bago ito mag-turn northwest until the forecast period. Itong area na to, yung yellow na bilog, ito yung may mga malalakas na hangin, at least 39 kilometers per hour. At itong naka-enclose na area na ito yung tinatawag nating area of probability. So, anywhere within this area, pwedeng mag-fall yung sentro ng ating bagyo. So, nakikita nga natin dito sa ating track na offshore, hindi natin nakikita yung landfall scenario, pero ibang parts ng northern part ng Northern Luzon ay nasa loob ng area of probability. So, hindi natin nire-rule out yung possible landfall sa northern part ng Northern Luzon. And also, yung mga pagbabago sa forecast track, posible pa din, kaya lagi tayong mag-antabay sa bulletin na ilalabas ng Pag-asa. Naasahan nga natin in the next 24 hours itong si Egay ay posibleng lumakas pa ulit at maging isang severe tropical storm category, at inaasahan nga natin throughout the forecast period yung paglakas nitong si Egay. At pagdating ng around Tuesday or Wednesday, posible na nga itong ma-reach niya yung super typhoon category. Ito ay nasa bandang silangan ng Northern Luzon. Kaya pinag-iingat pa rin natin yung ating mga kababayan, lalo na sa mga nakatira sa area malapit sa tatahakin nitong si Egay. For Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. Sunday, naasahan nga natin na may mga pag-ulan na tayo dito sa may Central Luzon, Southern Luzon, dito sa areas ng Visayas at sa may kanlurang bahagi ng Mindanao. For tomorrow, 8 a.m. Sunday until 8 a.m. Monday, sa may Central Luzon, may mga pag-ulan pa rin tayo, Southern Luzon, and then may mga kalakasan na yung pag-ulan dito sa ilang bahagi ng Visayas, and also nakita natin medyo mas lumakas na nga yung mga pag-ulan sa western section ng Mindanao. At kung makikita naman natin dito, from 8 a.m. Monday until 8 a.m. Tuesday, so nakikita natin dito sa may silangang bahagi ng Luzon, may mga nakikita na tayong pag-ulan dahil nga papalapit na si Egay sa ating bansa. Although binabanggit pa rin natin na yung based sa ating track, less likely pa rin yung offshore pa rin siya, pero hindi natin tinatanggal yung possibility na posible siya mag-landfall sa northern part ng Northern Luzon. So yun nga, nakikita natin dito sa may silangang bahagi ng Luzon, may mga nakikita na tayo mga pag-ulan, pati na rin dito, may mga pag-ulan pa rin tayo, Visayas area, and also sa may western part ng Mindanao, and also sa Southern Luzon, may mga pag-ulan pa rin dyan.
In another report today, our correspondent MJ Racario brings us the latest update on the ongoing Hollywood strike from Los Angeles. Stay tuned for this exclusive insight and development straight from the heart of the entertainment industry.
Now here in front of Netflix here in Hollywood, there is actually a picket here Monday through Friday all over Hollywood and major studios. So I get to speak with Adam Chris. He's happened to be an actor and screenwriter, and this is really a double strike, you guys. Take a look.
On the set, we won't not be here after 1 p.m. today, but we will be here on Monday. We will be here on Tuesday. We will be here every day until we get off their deal. Billions and billions of dollars. We will take us.
I know today is basically a double strike. It broke out last week.
Last week, this is the week, end of the first week of the double strike, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how are we doing with this strike right now?
I think it's doing terrific. It's kind of died down the energy. It usually dies down at this point, but we're always back at it every workday morning.
So are you a writer or an actor?
I'm both.
Both?
I'm not in the Writers Guild, but I'm just part of SAG.
Amazing. And I know this is, do you know when it's going to end?
It could end whenever the studios want it to end. They can give us what we need to continue our profession anytime they want. It would only take, it would only take a 2% pay cut from these CEOs to fully fund everything the unions are asking for. Only 2% of their multi-million-dollar salaries to make sure that actors and writers have livable wages and can afford homes and apartments in Los Angeles. But they would rather force people out onto the street to strike, force people out of their homes by forcing them to withhold their labor instead of taking just a small pay cut.
Absolutely.
You know?
And this is ongoing. I know I saw the schedule. It's Monday through Friday, if I'm not mistaken. All the major studios.
All the major studios.
SAG-AFTRA represents around 160,000 actors, ranging from A-list stars like Meryl Streep, Jennifer Lawrence, and Glenn Close to day players who take on small roles in television series. The last strike, initiated by Actors Union, occurred in 1980 and lasted over 3 months. This time, a staggering 98% of union members voted in favor of authorizing industrial action if a satisfactory agreement was not reached. In a statement released after the collapse of negotiations, the union highlighted the severe erosion of actors' pay in the face of streaming ecosystems' rise and warned about the existential threat posed by artificial intelligence to creative professions. Actors assert that their salaries have been significantly reduced and payments that were once received for reruns of successful shows or films have vanished. Basically, the strike is Monday through Friday in all major studios. Right now, we're in front of big giant stream Netflix. So I hope that they could come to an agreement with this, with the writers and actors for SAG-AFTRA and WGA. That's about it, guys. This is MJ Ricardo reporting from Hollywood, California, because we live in extraordinary times. Back to you, Alma.
And breaking news coming in from the Korean Peninsula. North Korea fired another several cruise missiles into the Yellow Sea today, and the latest in a series of weapons tests by the nuclear-armed country. The launches were condemned by South Korea and the United States, who said they were a clear violation of UN Security Council resolutions. The recent weapons tests are the latest in a series by North Korea, which has been ramping up in its military activity in recent months. The launches comes as Seoul and Washington ramp up defense cooperation in the face of soaring tensions with the North. The incident also comes as a U.S. soldier is believed to be in North Korean custody after breaking away from a tour group visiting the demilitarized zone.
There is no regular contact. I'll say communications between our two countries are limited. We have made clear on a number of occasions that we have wanted to have discussions with them about their nuclear program and their violation of UN Security Council resolutions. We have made outreach to them on a number of occasions, but the responses have been limited.
Is that
the case continues to be an extremely high priority for the department? Our diplomatic efforts are ongoing. The White House, the State Department, the Pentagon, of course, are all continuing to work together on this matter to ascertain information about the well-being and whereabouts of Private Keene. We have relayed messages to the DPRK that Private Keene crossed on his own, and we want him returned safely. We have also asked for more info on his well-being. I will say that we retain a number of channels through which we can send messages to the DPRK, as I said yesterday. Certainly, I think we would always have concern, given the treatment by North Koreans of past detained individuals. We would have that concern, and that's why, one of the reasons why we are reaching out to ask for more information about his well-being.
The launches on Saturday are a clear sign that North Korea is not interested in dialogue and that tensions in the region are likely to remain high in the coming months. President Marcos Jr. has issued a challenge to the new leadership of the Armed Forces of the Philippines to reevaluate the military's internal operations. The goal, ensuring the smooth delivery of public services in geographically challenged and disadvantaged communities.
Given your extensive experience in safeguarding peace in conflict-affected areas, I urge you to recalibrate our internal security operations so that we can deliver public services in geographically isolated and disadvantaged communities.
Our mission is to ensure that this administration is successful in governing our nation, in securing our peace, and in protecting our territory at all costs.
Particularly, the President emphasized the importance of reaching out to former insurgents who have returned to the folds of the law, ensuring their successful reintegration into society.
I know that your supervision will give rise to a safer and more secure nation, where more rebels return to the fold of the law and decide to be productive citizens. At this juncture, allow me to urge you all to work towards an armed forces that is agile and prepared for any contingency.
General Centino, who has devoted 39 years of active duty to the AFP, will continue to serve the government in a new role. He has been appointed as the new presidential advisor for the West Philippine Sea. Now, this move signifies the government's determination to address issues concerning the West Philippine Sea and protect the nation's territorial interests. Now, President Marcos Jr. is set to leverage the Maharlika Investment Fund during his upcoming state visit to Malaysia, scheduled for next week.
It's very safe to assume that it will maybe be raised and promoted during this visit.
Joined by his administration's economic managers and a delegation of private business executives, the president aims to promote trade and investment opportunities during his visit to Kuala Lumpur from the 25th of July to the 27th.
During this meeting, we will meet with both a Malaysian king, the 16th king of Malaysia, and Prime Minister of Malaysia, and he will pursue bilateral cooperation in priority areas that are actually in support of the economic agenda of the country. And that will include agriculture, food security, tourism, digital economy, tourism, and will also focus on people-to-people exchanges. But there will be new areas that will be explored, and this would include the halal industry and Islamic banking. We're also expecting that with the meeting with key Malaysian businessmen and business leaders, this would hopefully generate investment pledges from Malaysian companies. As you all know, Malaysia is a top 10 trading partner of the Philippines.
Enacted into law on July 18, the MIF holds a crucial role in the medium-term fiscal framework strategy of President Marcos Jr.'s administration. As a complementary measure to the government's 8-point socio-economic agenda and the Philippine Development Plan, the fund aims to strengthen the country's financial capacity for flagship projects, encompassing agriculture and infrastructure development, digitalization, and value chain enhancement. Ahead of President Marcos Jr.'s second State of the Nation address in the Philippines, Ambassador Jose Manuel Romualdez offers his perspective on the administration's first year. The Philippine Embassy in Washington witnessed a gathering of representatives from Filipino organizations and various U.S. Filipino associations for this insightful discussion.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s administration has reached its first year. And today, here at the Philippine Embassy in Washington, Ambassador Jose Manuel Romualdez provides a review of President Marcos Jr.'s policy directions and how these affect the Philippines-U.S. relations.
Ambassador Romualdez gives his perspective of President Marcos Jr.'s first year of administration's accomplishments, specifically in its foreign policy with respect to the Philippines' relationship with the U.S. Ambassador Romualdez says that in the past year, the exchanges between the two countries put their relationship in a very good place.
President Marcos had a very successful official working visit here in Washington, D.C. over 2 months ago, capping a year of exchanges among our most senior officials, including the visits of Vice President Kamala Harris, Secretary Blinken, and Secretary Austin to the Philippines, as well as the visits to the U.S. Secretary of Foreign Affairs Manalo and the OIC of Defense Galvez, and our economic managers, not to mention the exchanges of CODELs or congressional delegation visits among Philippine and American legislators. These exchanges are very important, not only for the agreements that were made or for the business that was generated, what we in government fondly call the deliverables, but they also send a strong signal to our two peoples and to the rest of the international community that the Philippines-U.S. alliance is strong and enduring, and that both countries are firmly determined to nurture that relationship.
Ambassador Romualdez mentions the $3 billion in public and private investment from the U.S. as a result of Marcos's visits here. He also mentions that the commitment of the two leaders to expand the educational exchange programs, to establish a Philippines-U.S. Friendship Fellowship designed to give students and young professionals educational opportunities here. Ambassador Romualdez ended his speech saying that it is time for the Philippines and the U.S. to have that special economic ground. This, he says, is because of the administration's commitment to economic prosperity of the Philippines and its partners in the U.S. be made much better than it ever was.
As the Marcos Jr. administration enters its second year, the Filipino here are looking forward to how the pace of engagement between the U.S. and the Philippines will go forward, be sustained, and affect more the two countries' relationship. Jeff Sanidad, Eagle News, Washington, D.C. We live in extraordinary times.
President Biden convened a meeting with top representatives from Amazon, Anthropic, Google, Inflection, Meta, Microsoft, and OpenAI at the White House, where he emphasized the significant impact of AI on our society, economy, and national security.
Today, I'm pleased to announce that these 7 companies have agreed to voluntary commitments for responsible innovation. We'll see more technology change in the next 10 years or even in the next few years than we've seen in the last 50 years. That has been an astounding revelation to me, quite frankly. Artificial intelligence is going to transform the lives of people around the world.
The president lauded AI's promise and potential while acknowledging the critical need to address its risks responsibly.
But we must be clear-eyed and vigilant about the threats of emerging technologies that can pose, don't have to, but can pose to our democracy and our values. Americans are seeing how advanced artificial intelligence and the pace of innovation have the power to disrupt jobs and industries. These commitments are a promising step, but we have a lot more work to do together.
Prior to the meeting, the 7 AI giants committed to a set of self-regulated safeguards. The White House stated these measures would focus on 3 fundamental principles for the future of AI:
safety, security, and trust.
The concern of AI-generated content being used for fraud and misinformation has grown as the technology advances, particularly with the 2024 presidential election on the horizon. In a world grappling with the impacts of climate change, researchers in Arizona have taken a unique approach to understand the dangers of extreme heat and its effects on the human body. Meet Andy, the extraordinary creation of Arizona State University's mechanical engineering team.
So Andy is a
thermal mannequin. He's the world's first outdoor thermal mannequin that we can routinely go outside, take outside, and in a hot climate, measure how much heat he is receiving from the environment. And we can do that on 35 different body parts.
By replicating various aspects of the human body's physiological responses to heat, Andy helps scientists explore critical questions about heat stroke and the implications of climate change on human health.
Yeah. With this project, some really important aspects of it are being able to study how people experience those extremely high core temperature values that we wouldn't be viewing in an actual human, because we would never purposely expose a human to those conditions where their core temperature would get that high.
Mr. Konrad Rikachevsky stresses that extreme heat is already a pressing concern, independent of future climate changes.
Extreme heat is not a problem of the future. There's plenty of extreme heat now. So even if the climate, was not to change, there's plenty to be looked at. But as you're seeing in the news, we're getting more and more extreme heat waves reported, and this is most likely going to be increasing everywhere.
The data gleaned from Andy's experiments is expected to aid in the development of precise heat mitigation technologies, both at the city and individual levels. Urban design strategies and personal cooling solutions will benefit from evidence-backed research, ensuring core temperatures are kept in check.
I think we'll be able to get more precise or better evidence that supports certain heat mitigation or personal cooling technologies, whether it's throughout a city or within a home or on the outside of a home. We can think of urban design strategies that are trying to be put in place. We can think of personal cooling strategies that do help keep the core temperature down.
As always, I'll end the week on a thoughtful note. Our ability to look back and smile at our past is proof that God's plan is to keep us moving forward. This has been Eagle News International. Stay alert, stay informed, because we live in extraordinary times. Good night.